company that was looking for comedians to help animate anime, as they say in French, this game called Chasse au trésor. So chasse au trésor is where different teams, they have to go throughout the city to find clues to find this huge treasure, and whichever team finds it first is the winner. So basically this game had characters from Jules Verne from 18th century. So I basically had to dress up in a costume. Yesterday I'm revlogging because I did a feedback at the end of the day when I changed, and I was kind of upset. So I did, like they say, as les nuits ça pour conseil. So I basically slept on it. Today I felt like I should probably do it, redo it, because I was less angry. I'm less angry about it, and then also too, basically I want to talk to you about signed contracts. So long story short, I'm filling in this company. They needed bilingual actors or comedian to help animate this game that they did for this company. And basically this company had their team from different countries. They were basically engineers, and they were here in Nantes doing a conference. So these were people like Japanese, there were some Swedish people, Americans. You had like all different kinds of people, so you had to speak, you know, English and French to explain, like, you know, how the game worked, and then also to give them the clues, and then just to help animate, you know, make it fun. So so basically I contacted the company because I was available, and because they needed someone, and they said it was from 1:45 to 8 p.m. So 1:45 to 8 p.m., 150 euros. So I'm thinking, hey, that's the end of my day. That's not my whole day. Why not? I was available. So what happened, they sent me an email asking me to go earlier at 12:30 to get my costume. So I go 12:30 to get my costume. The guy explains, you know, what I'm doing, the clues that I need to give, which was very easy. And it only took like maybe 10 to 15 minutes or something like that. So I was done basically like, you know, 12:50. And so basically he's like, okay, well, you know, you just have to be at this place at around 1:45, maybe to 2 o'clock, because it depends if if the company starts late. You know, we have to wait until all the employees get here, etc. So I'm like, okay, first of all, I had things to do at 12:30, like eat and finish working what I was working on in the morning. And when they sprung it on me, like to come earlier, you know, I'm thinking 1:45. Couldn't they did that at, you know, 1:30, and then I just go directly to the place? So anyway, so I end up, you know, I just went with the flow. It was a new experience. I enjoy dressing up. I like, you know, dressing up, doing the Halloween thing. That was kind of fun. So I basically stood in Passage Pomeroy, almost like, I was there at, yeah, I was a little bit there. I was there at 1:45. So at 1:45 to 6, I was standing. A couple of the teams they passed, I gave them their clue. I helped, you know, I made it fun. But in between, you're just standing there in this, like, you know, passage, and there's tons of people who were passing. And I noticed when you stand too long in one place, either people are going to think that you're there, your job, your purpose is to give them directions or to take photos. Because, you know, I was dressed up in this costume, so everybody was like, oh, can we take a photo with you? Or, you know, how to get here, how to get there. So this is what I'm basically doing. So anywho, I finished. The guy asked me to come over to the rendezvous point for the treasure, just to finish so they can take pictures of the costume, and they were videotaping, so I had no problem with that. Ended up finishing at 6:30. So 2 of my other friends did this too, And I remember with the guy who was like supposed to be the responsable, like, you know, the dirigeant of every keep, he was like, he was a little bit ambiguous, because I remember my friend was like, okay, so where's our contracts? We have to sign our contracts because we just finished working today, you know, where's the contract? And he's like playing dumb, like, what contract? And I'm like, wait a minute. So you telling me I just worked a whole day, I didn't sign a contract, so you can either screw me over and not pay me, or like how do I know, you know, there's nothing explained like how the payment is being arranged. And then two, when I calculated, I'm 12:30 to 6:30 p.m. That's 7 hours work, so I end up working like $18.75 an hour. You know, if I would have known that, I would have probably never did it, because I make more working for myself than doing that shit. So experience. So anyway, just I want to emphasize on getting, with in anything you do, get a contract. It's already happened to me twice where I got screwed over, in France, in Paris. I worked for Gap when I first came to Paris. I worked for Gap, and I helped Gap. I keep looking down at my cat because my cat is like biting my fingers. Here he is. See that? Look at that. He's like nibbling on my fingers, so it's kind of like distracting me at the same time. So getting back to what I was saying, get your tail out my video. Okay, wait a minute. Cats. Okay, so I used to work for a company, well, when I first moved to Paris, I worked for Gap, and I basically worked for Gap. I helped Gap open up stores. I didn't work like as sales or anything. Whenever they had like opening up stores, they needed people to help, you know, just to put clothes on the rack, you know, help with the boxes and stuff like that. So I did that. And I remember one time I went in because it was like a new store, and it was normally like on the weekend. It was a new store. And the time machine clock, when you punch in, didn't work. So I told the guy, the manager at the time, you know, I wasn't able to clock in because the time machine wasn't work. And he was like, okay, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. You know, I'll write it down, you know, etc. So after I finished that, I noticed, and I got my paycheck from Gap, I noticed that day wasn't in there. Like, he told me that he was going to take care of it, which he didn't. So when I end up calling back to the store, I also had a second problem. The same people who go around opening up new stores are not the same people who manage the store. So I have like this other person that I really didn't know, nor was he there that day. I told him about what happened, and long story short, you know, it's like me against time clocks, you know, and why didn't the time clock work? You know, normally it works, and etc. So it got into like this big fiasco and argument, and I didn't get paid. And I worked a full day. It also happened to me another time. I was helping out someone that I knew. They had a bar. They asked me, you know, to come in and help them out on the shift because they had like people were like leaving and they had to fire someone. So they basically didn't have no staff. So I went in and helped out. I'm not going to get into like everything about it, but I ended up not getting paid because I didn't have anything signed. I didn't have a signed contract. So going back to my experience yesterday, I have nothing signed. Also too, yesterday when I came home, because I came directly home, I had the costume. The guy who works apparently full time for this company that organized these things, he was like, okay, well, I'll swing by your house to get the costume because we need the costume for another prestation tomorrow. So I'm like, okay, no problem. So they swing by. They came around my house at like 8 o'clock at night to pick up the costume. And lo and behold, the guy who's supposed to be taking care of all the contracts and etc., who is like one of the gérants of this agency, was with him. And so he was like, yeah, I heard about you from Orly and etc. He was like, yeah, they were pretty pleased. They really like The client was very happy, etc. And he was like, maybe, you know, I can use you. I have another prestation. I always have people asking me for bilingual speaking people. Maybe I can reuse you again. I was like, okay, no problem. But however, this is not what I do for a living. So, you know, if I'm available, I'm available. If I'm not available. And then I'm like, also, you know, when are you going to send me the contract for working today? He was like, okay, well, I'll take care of that as soon as I get back into the office. They also, too, there's a secretary that works in the office, too. There's 2 girls that works in the office. So there are a total of 3 people in this, how you say, keep that works in this company. So here we are today. It's like going on, I think it is like 5 or 8 o'clock. I still haven't got an email. Nothing about a contract on my email. No phone calls. Nothing. Even yesterday when I finished working, which they knew that I was going to be working there because I agreed to that like last week. So they knew that I was going to be there. Yesterday at the end of my day, nothing in my email. So here I am. It's like, okay, what do I do? Okay, do I take out my witch costume and start acting a fool on these people, you know, or do I have to go by there and be like, hey, I'm here. Let me sign this contract and so you can pay me. I'm not your fucking employee. That was a one-thing gig. I was helping you out. So, you know, so what's going on? So, one thing about them, they were very unorganized, and also too, I could probably get screwed because I haven't heard anything. Tomorrow's Friday, and I feel that if I don't make an effort to contact them, I'm sure they're not going to contact me. So we'll see how it goes. But I just want to stress from this experience that I just had. This is like the 3rd experience about contracts. Don't ever do anything for anybody without a signed contract. And I know like some people might have money problems. You might need the money. People will play on your trust because of that. They'll be like, oh, trust me. In French, they use this word, avoir confiance, n'inquiétez pas. They say this shit all the time. And when someone says that to you, it's certainly if you don't know them, do not trust them because you can get screwed. If I call the police or I go and get a lawyer or, you know, I do a complaint avec, what are they called? The prud'homme or this thing here in France. First thing they're going to ask, they're going to say, did you have a contract signed? I didn't have a contract signed. Only thing I have is just an email confirming that I was supposed to be there. But that's nothing real saying that I actually worked that day. And then also too, I agreed to work from 1:45 to 8 p.m. I did not agree to work to 12:30 p.m. to 8. Excuse me. I'm talking in Army time. So it's actually 1:45 to 6 p.m. Stand corrected because sometimes it's like the time if you're in America you guys say 8 p.m. and in France we're like 1400, you know, so and I'm also used to saying in French, so excuse me if I just mixed up on the time. So I work till 6:30 p.m. so that's 7 hours work. If I would have knew that last week, I wouldn't have done it. And by them springing it on me the last minute, by me, first of all, I'm a person honest, and if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So when they sprung it on me, it was too late. You know, it's like 12:30 in a couple of minutes, you know, half an hour, I have to be there. So I can't say, no, I don't want to do this because you told me 1:45 and you just screwed up half of my day, you know. And then two, it was pretty tiring standing on my feet all day. I'm not used to doing that kind of work. So yeah, so I just want to say, stress, whatever you do, sign contract. Thanks Josh for this, but if you do any work with these people, I don't know if you know them, beware, because I also heard some other stuff from someone else that was working that day. I'm not going to get into it, but very unorganized, no contract signed, no money. I worked, that was yesterday, Wednesday, today is Thursday, tomorrow's Friday. I'm not sure if I'm going to get a call, so I'll probably have to call them, and I will probably have to take out my clown suit and act a fool. And I hate when I do that because it's like, why do you got to get to that point, you know? So so yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you later.